Every single day, someone walks into a gun shop, puts down hard-earned money on a shotgun, and walks out holding a beautifully packaged piece of junk. It looks like a shotgun. It weighs like a shotgun. It has the rails and the pistol grip and the matte black finish of something you would see in a movie. But the moment you rack that first shell, something feels wrong. The action is gritty, the fit is loose, and when you finally get to the range, it either does not cycle, does not extract, or in some truly unforgivable cases, it does things it was never supposed to do without your finger anywhere near the trigger. This is not a fluke. This is a business model. There is an entire segment of the American shotgun market that has been engineered not to perform, but to sell. And the kicker is that the brands robbing you are often sitting right next to the brands that would never let you down, sometimes at the same price point. So today I am going to walk you through both sides. 5 shotgun brands that are taking your money and giving you a liability, and 5 that have earned every dollar of their reputation. By the end, you will know exactly which shelf to walk past and which one to stop at. Let us start with the brands draining your wallet. Number 5 is Stoeger. Now, Stoeger is actually owned by the Benelli family of companies, which is itself owned by Beretta. That sounds reassuring on paper. But Stoeger operates as the budget tier of that family tree, and with certain models, the word budget does not begin to cover it. The P350 pump action became notorious for ejection failures. Owners reported that the gun simply refused to extract 3-inch and 3.5-inch shells reliably, which is a catastrophic flaw in a gun explicitly marketed for waterfowl and turkey hunting. Multiple owners sent the gun back for repair, only to receive it back with the exact same problem. To be fair, Stoeger also makes the M3000, which is a genuinely solid semi-auto and one of the better Turkish-made shotguns on the market. That is the honest caveat. But the inconsistency across their lineup is the red flag. When one model in your catalog is respected and another is universally dragged through the mud, it tells you the company is capable of quality and is choosing not to deliver it at every price point. Number 4 is Charles Daly. This is a name that has been bought, sold, and resurrected so many times it barely qualifies as a brand anymore. The original Charles Daly shotguns were well-made imports. What exists today is a label slapped on budget Turkish-manufactured shotguns by an importer that changes ownership like some people change socks. The guns often arrive with bubbled wood, burrs on receivers, and wood-to-metal fit that looks like it was done in the dark. Parts availability is a nightmare, because when the current iteration of the company folds or rebrands, your warranty and your spare parts go with it. That is the core of the problem. You are not buying a shotgun from a manufacturer. You are buying a shotgun from a marketing entity that might not exist in 2 years. Number 3 is where this gets painful, because it involves a name that used to mean something sacred: Remington. Specifically, Remington after the 2007 acquisition by Cerberus Capital Management and the creation of the Freedom Group. The Remington 870 Wingmaster was once the gold standard. Over 11 million Model 870s sold. Law enforcement agencies across the country trusted them. But when private equity took over, the cost-cutting started immediately, and it showed. The Express models, which became the bulk of production, developed a reputation for finishes that rusted inside a gun safe. Owners reported corrosion forming within days of purchase, even after oiling. Chambers were left rough enough that spent shells would stick and refuse to extract. The company that built America's most iconic pump shotgun filed for bankruptcy in 2020, was broken up and sold in pieces. That is not a commentary on shotguns. That is a cautionary tale about what happens when accountants replace engineers. If you are buying a used 870, anything pre-2007 is generally solid. Anything after that, inspect it like your life depends on it, because with a defensive shotgun, it literally might. Number 2 is ATI, American Tactical Imports. And really, this entry could apply to half a dozen companies operating the same playbook, names like G-Force Arms, Citadel, and Radical. These are not manufacturers, they are importers. They source the cheapest available Turkish-made shotguns, slap tactical furniture on them, give them aggressive model names, photograph them with dramatic lighting, and sell them to people who do not yet know the difference between a real combat shotgun and a gun-shaped object. The semi-autos routinely fail to cycle standard birdshot. Many require a mandatory 100-round break-in period with expensive high-brass ammunition just to begin functioning. And even after that break-in, there is no guarantee the gun will run standard loads. When they do fail, which the data says happens at an alarming rate, there is effectively no customer service infrastructure behind them. These are disposable products being marketed as defensive tools, and that gap between marketing and reality is where people get hurt. Quick pause here, because I genuinely want to hear from you. If you have owned a shotgun from any of these brands, good experience or bad, drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and those stories help the next buyer make a smarter decision. And number 1 on the robbing you blind list is Black Aces Tactical. This company represents the absolute peak of the tactical import bubble. Bullpup shotguns, short-barreled semi-autos, magazine-fed models, all sourced from Turkish factories, and all sold with aggressive marketing that implies military-grade performance. The reality, as documented across forums and review sites, is a consistent pattern of failures to feed, failures to extract, double feeds requiring full disassembly to clear, and customer service so poor that the Better Business Bureau and even the ATF have received complaints. Their own website publishes a break-in procedure that essentially admits the guns will not work out of the box. Read that again. The manufacturer is telling you before you buy that the product does not function as shipped. When the company making the gun is preemptively warning you that it might not work, that is not transparency. That is a confession. Now let us talk about the brands that earn your trust every single time you pull the trigger. Number 5 on the never let you down list is Mossberg's Maverick 88. This is the most important shotgun on this entire list, and I will tell you why. It proves that reliability is not a luxury feature. The Maverick 88 uses the same action, the same dual extractors, the same barrel interchangeability as the Mossberg 500. It is built on the same assembly line, with some parts manufactured in Mexico to bring the price down, and that price sits around $200 to $240. For that money, you get a pump-action shotgun that runs every single time you rack it. No break-in period, no special ammunition requirements. It just works. Every dollar one of those Turkish import brands overcharges you is a dollar you could have spent on the Maverick 88 and had money left over for ammunition and training. Number 4 is the Mossberg 500 and 590 family. The Mossberg 500 series has sold over 12 million units since 1961. The 590A1 is the only pump-action shotgun to pass all United States military mil-spec 3443 requirements, a test that demands 3,000 consecutive rounds of full-power 12-gauge buckshot without a single malfunction. Dual-action bars, steel-to-steel lockup, ambidextrous tang safety, and an anti-jam elevator make this platform as close to fail-proof as mechanical engineering allows. When every branch of the American military trusts a shotgun with the lives of its service members, that is not marketing, that is evidence. Number 3 is Beretta. This is a company that has been building firearms for nearly 500 years. That is not a typo. They were making gun barrels before Shakespeare was writing plays. Their A300 series semi-automatic is one of the best values in gas-operated shotguns, a reliable workhorse under $1,000 that cycles everything from light birdshot to heavy magnums without complaint. Their Silver Pigeon over and under, built on the legendary 680 platform, is what one respected British firearms publication described as boringly reliable, which might be the highest compliment a shotgun can receive. Beretta semi-autos dominate serious sporting clays competitions for one reason. When you are shooting hundreds of rounds in a single session, you cannot afford a malfunction. Beretta knows this. They have known it for 5 centuries. Number 2 is Benelli. The M4 Super 90 is arguably the finest combat shotgun ever manufactured. In 1998, the United States military held an open competition for a new semi-automatic 12-gauge. Benelli submitted the M4 with its Argo system, a dual stainless steel self-cleaning piston design that cycles everything from light birdshot to 3-inch magnums without adjustment. It won. It has been in service ever since, adopted by the United States, the United Kingdom, Israel, Australia, and dozens of other nations. The gun is designed to fire 25,000 rounds without the replacement of any major parts. Reviewers who have put thousands of rounds through it use the same word over and over: Runs. It just runs. Yes, it costs nearly $2,000, but a shotgun that does not work costs infinitely more. And number one, the brand that has never let you down and never will, is Browning. The Satori over and under has been in continuous production since 1973 and remains one of the most respected shotguns in the world. The BPS pump action with its bottom ejection design is ambidextrous, elegant, and utterly reliable. Browning shotguns are built in Japan by Miroku, a manufacturer with quality standards so exacting that Browning has trusted them for over 50 years. These are shotguns that get handed down through families. Not because they are pretty, though they are, because 3 generations later they still work. And that is the principle that ties every entry on both of these lists together. The question you should ask before buying any shotgun is not how does it look, not how many rails does it have, not what does the marketing say. The question is, who actually built this? And will they still be there when something breaks? Because the difference between a shotgun that robs you blind and one that never lets you down is not price. It is accountability. The brands that last are the brands that build like their name depends on every single gun that leaves the factory. Because it does. Now you know which ones those are. Choose accordingly. And if you have a shotgun that has earned your trust or broken your heart, tell me about it in the comments. I want to hear the real story.